Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Tampa Honda, and I have that one top-selling SUV that received a redesign for 2023, and it's this vehicle right here. This is a 2023 Honda Pilot. This particular one is an EXL trim, and it's got the HPD package. But before we get into this mid-size, three-row, top-selling SUV from Honda, let's talk about what's going on here. The mid-size SUV segment really is truly on fire. Ever since Kia brought the Telluride and Hyundai brought the Palisade, a lot has changed very, very quickly for the competition to catch up. Now, like I said at the intro, Honda decided to take their Pilot and do a full redesign, bring some extra technology, extra space inside, but still bring that Honda reliability. Now, lots to choose from, especially with the new Mazda CX-90, the redesign of the Pathfinder, of course the Highlander, and everything in between. What I want to find out is, should you get this new Pilot, especially an EXL trim with the HPD package, over a Highlander or a CX-90? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the color, radiant red. Love the color. You don't see many reds like this on SUVs, and I think it fits it very nicely. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna see all LED lighting. You actually have separate LED turn signals from your LED daytime running lamps, which are on the lower side, and then we have our LED headlights. Working our way down, EXL. What does L stand for? It stands for luxury. So we have a little bit of chrome, a little bit of shiny chrome finish, functional corner air curtains, and down below, we do have LED fog lamps. A lot of vehicles are getting rid of the fog lamps. You still get it on your Honda Pilot, but definitely just starting right here in the corner, they gave the Pilot a little bit more muscular look. The previous generation sort of looked like a minivan or a refrigerator with wheels. This has a little bit more pizzazz. Now, as we come across the front on this particular trim, you're gonna get a flat black grille, fully functional with that massive Flava Flav style Honda badge. Working our way down, we have some more flat black functional on the bottom portion and that flat silver. What I like about it being all flat is that it's gonna take a better beating over time than if it was a ton of gloss black. And you'll notice how you have that chrome brow that goes from one side of the vehicle to the other because this is an EXL trim. Now, when you rise up, you're gonna have all new hood, nice bold body lines, nothing too over the top. And then coming around the bend, here's where we're gonna see some of the touches of the HPD package. So when we start at the wheel, you start right off the top. This is an HPD specific. It says it right there. Honda Performance Development, 18-inch wheel. Love this nice sort of like satin gray finish with the machine aluminum outer. You do have part of the package gloss black lug nuts, which a lot of times these just come chrome from the factory. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what type of tire do we have on this 18-inch wheel? This is not like on the Trail Sport. The Pilot Trail Sport has the first ever off-road spec tire. This is more street worthy. You're looking at 255 on the width, 60 series sidewall, and guess what? Also part of the HPD package is this fender flare. So you'll notice flat black all the way around. I like the way it kind of bulges out, but then they taper it in, and then it bulges out again. So specific to the HPD package. Let me know how you feel, not only about the look, but also, are you okay with it being flat black? Let me know down in the comment section. Now, as we come down the side of the rest of the vehicle, EXL gets color matched mirror caps, nice smoked out LED turn signals, shiny bright metal work only on the bottom portion, and I like that. No roof rails. You could add that, but this one does not have roof rails. HPD package also gives you this lower side sill extension. So you're not just getting the fender flares, you're also getting a beefier side sill, and I like the way it's got the flat silver like it does on the front of the vehicle, right on that lower lip. Color matched on the door handles. Working our way towards the rear, you gotta have some vinyl to let everybody know what you got going on here. So Honda Performance Development, wheels, fender flares, lug nuts, vinyl decal on both sides. And then when you're swinging around back, you're gonna have a pretty decent sized roof spoiler. I wish they would have extended it out just a little bit more to get rid of this, because whenever they are able to hide this, it just cleans up the whole back. So I am gonna zonk that. We got our new taillights, LED with the turn signals. Love the way the Pilot name blends in nicely to the trim. HPD gets a special badge on the rear. And then of course, as we work our way down, very, very clean on the lower portion. Once again, they finish it off with flat black and that flat silver color. But why don't we go ahead? We talked about the exterior. We talked about what this whole HPD business is all about. Let's pop the hood and talk horsepower on our new Pilot. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I'm not gonna zonk it, and the reason why is that you could have it in the standard setting, which is what I have it in right now, or you could go service tech setting. And look at how nice and open that engine compartment is. I have it perfect for Steven. What do we got underneath? First of all, you got a new engine cover, so I'm happy about that. It doesn't look like a garbage can lid anymore. You do have a 3.5 liter V6, but guess what? It's not the same 3.5 liter V6 from last year. It's actually a new motor for this 2023 Honda Pilot. So what do we have at the end of the day? You got a 3.5 liter V6 that is pumping out, believe it or not, 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Top speed is governed to 112 miles per hour. MPG is around 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. The vehicle weighs 4,670 pounds and can tow about 5,000 pounds. So fuel efficiency, being a naturally aspirated V6, the Highlander is gonna come out on top, especially with that smaller engine. But remember, we're talking about also towing, 5,000 pounds. If I remember correctly, the class leader is the Pathfinder, which could tow 6,600 pounds. And don't forget the Traverse, which is switching over to a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline four. We got naturally aspirated V6 power. Let's go ahead, fire it up, and hear what it sounds like. All right guys, business time inside this 2023 Honda Pilot. Like I said, this being the EXL trim with the HPD package. I know you're saying to yourself, well Joe, everybody on my block has a new Telluride or a Palisade. I don't want one of those. I've always been a Honda type of person. I want another Honda. How much is this Pilot? So this Pilot with the HPD package has an MSRP of $47,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the clean style. Soft touch material. The gloss black is not a big deal because you're not going to touch it. Soft material in the center. No gloss black around the switchgear. And I'm really digging the armrest with the contrast stitching. Now you do have a center pocket there. Easily stack 3 Twinkies. And you got a nice size cup holder for a Yeti can. And down below you could easily put 2, maybe 3 Whoppers if you're having a good day. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same thing, soft touch material. Here is our HPD auxiliary Twinkie tray. Easily put 24 Twinkies, no problem. A little bit of silver trim, nice soft touch material, the stitching. And then why don't you come on in and I'll show you the infotainment system. So this is a 9-inch infotainment system. You don't get the 12.3 that's in the Honda Accord. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But I do like the way it's separate from the instrumentation. And my question is, do we really need supersized screens? Let me know how you feel about it, but it is all touchscreen. You do have a real volume knob. Let me go ahead and throw the 10-speed into reverse. It does take up all of the 9 inches. You got trajectory. You could change camera angle. It's just a little grainy. I would like to see a better resolution camera. Working our way down, you have a nice bright red start-stop button. We do have our dual climate controls. Nice click. Look at that. Sounds like an old Wells Fargo safe from 1925. And then, of course, working our way down, you're going to have 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. And at $47,000, that's a zonk. You got a place here for a box of candy cigarettes, USB-A, USB-C, 12 volt. Don't stick your Twinkie in there. It's going to hurt, kids. You got a place for easily 4 Snickers king-size bars, wireless charging. This is going to control the 10-speed automatic, just a little bit of gloss black, two nice large cup holders. You got a drive mode selector switch, hill descent control, and here is our Honda key fob. This is the new key fob that they put in all their vehicles. Works well. You do have remote start. And then I love the size of the center console armrest. Nice soft material, the stitching. Open this bad boy up. You could easily put, I would say, 2 Magic 8 balls in there. So if you have a big question that's on your mind and you don't know how to answer it, ask the Magic 8 ball. That's how I have based all of my life decisions, is on the Magic 8 ball. Seats, when you go EXL, you're getting the leather. I do like the way they do this nice little cloth design in the center. Comfortable bolstering, power assist for the passenger, power assist for the driver. The one thing that I think is gonna shock you, even on an EXL, no sunroof. That's a bummer. But why don't you come over here to the business side? I want to show you behind the wheel of the new Pilot. Hey guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for these seats, and I like how large the controls are, especially for that lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room, and they really just made it, I don't know, I just like the feel in here a little bit more than the previous generation. Previous generation really felt like a minivan. I'm sorry, that's what it felt like. Steering wheel, the leather, the stitching all the way around, a little bit of silver trim, flat black on the buttons. You do have paddles to go up and down that 10-speed automatic, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you do have a 7-inch digital display and an analog speedometer. So you got your different drive modes. Nice to be able to scroll, especially tow, because we can tow up to 5,000 pounds. And then you also can change out the information in the center. So I go back to home, and here's where I could scroll through the different information very easily, like bring up my navigation. There's my compass, easy peasy. The one thing I would like to see on this is a head-up display, especially on an EXL trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the mid-row and the third row and see how much space is in this new Honda Pilot. All right guys, mid-row time, and this is where they really organize the space very, very well. Obviously the seats can slide. They could also recline. I'll show you that on my side. They are captain's chairs, and I actually like the way they went a little bit wider on the armrest. Would I like it a little bit more? Yes, but I'm okay with it, especially with the way they did the stitching. Now on the backs of the seats, you have more leather, more nice stitching, great massive pockets. And you see this little pocket right here, this little guy? This is for you to put a mirror back here. One thing I think we forget to teach kids is self-love. So what you do is you put a mirror on each side for each of your 2 kids, and you have them love themselves, because remember, you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself. And that's just a little message from my heart to you. But the pockets are massive. You could easily put, I would say, a box of a dozen Dunkin' Donuts. Get some Boston cream, jelly filled. Sounds good to me. Command center, you got 2 rear AC vents. You got your controls, easy to get to, 2 USB-As. I have my own pocket over here, like I said, for my mirror. You do have manual shades for both sides of the doors. Here's that captain's armrest, and then I'm gonna go full recline. You ready? Boom. So nice recline action. I was just taking a little nap. And you also have this almost like a plastic kick panel here. This is gonna be perfect for a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken, maybe even a bucket. And one of these days, you gotta remind me, I know the story about why KFC uses a bucket and not just a box. I have the information. Maybe one day, if you're lucky, I'll tell you. But why don't we go ahead and get into the third row and see if I'm gonna be lucky to fit back there in this Pilot. Guys, third row time, and the challenge is that I wish that it gave a little bit more room. So if you notice, there's not a lot of room between the back of the seat and where you need to put your feet there. So that to me is a little bit of a challenge and a zonk. Once you get in, I mean, it's not perfect. The great news is I got plenty of headroom. So remember, I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of headroom. I just would like my knees a little bit lower, but to do that, you gotta be in a full-size SUV. So actually for a mid-size 3-row SUV, this has a good amount of space back here. You can adjust the tilt of the rear seat, which is nice, but you have to do it on the back side, which is the problem. But I do have 2 cup holders, AC vents, and a USB-A for both rear seat passengers. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the cargo area and see what we could haul in this new Pilot. All right guys, time to get in this cargo area. Now the nice thing is, because this is an EXL, you actually have electric assist for the rear lift gate. So you're just gonna hit the button, lifts up, very seamless. And then you're gonna be greeted to, believe it or not, with the third row up, 20 cubic feet of space. Now what I like about this space is that you have a nook over here for 2 Twinkies. You can just drop them right in there. And then on the driver's side, you have a nice little nook there for a gallon of Yoo-Hoo, and there's a 12 volt right above it. To get the seats to fold down, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You don't need any electric seats. Come on, not a big deal. You just pull and you let go. Pull, let go. Now you just expanded your cargo space and you're able to see that rear seat area. So now we're looking at 49 cubic feet of space. Fold down the mid row, which I have one of the seats down for you. That's 87 cubic feet of space. I want to show you what I was trying to show you when I was sitting back here. You have a USB-A, you have your AC vents nicely placed, 2 cup holders, and you also have a USB-A for the driver side as well. So they got you covered both sides. But you know what? It's not just about what you could pack into this thing, it's about how it drives. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go for a spin in this Pilot. All right guys, we left Tampa Honda and we are inside this 2023 Honda Pilot, this particular one being the EXL with the HPD package. So cool that we can finally show you the HPD package on a Pilot. Now, what's fantastic is you're gonna love the amount of space that you have in this vehicle. Getting to the 9-inch infotainment system is well within reach, and I know a lot of the competitors, the Telluride, the Palisade, the Traverse, all these vehicles do have larger screens. But it's one of those things that, do we really need 12.3-inch screens? Do we really need these ginormous screens to be happy in a vehicle? And I'm not too sure about that. I really can appreciate the 9-inch system. It's a floating iPad style. It's at a perfect visual reference point. And then everything else is just so nicely laid out in here. The dual climate control, the heated seats, all of those goodies. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit that drive mode button, put us into sport mode. That's gonna change how the engine, the transmission, the throttle sensitivity, and the steering sensitivity all come into play. Seats are very, very supportive. And I know sometimes this camera angle is not the best because I'm not showing out the windshield, but you've already seen out the windshield of a Pilot. And I really wanted to showcase, well, what are you gonna be experiencing behind the wheel of the vehicle? And this is where you're gonna be when you're driving, right? I mean, you're not gonna be outside the vehicle while you're driving. So it's nice to see that, you know, especially for someone like myself, 6 feet tall, I feel really good behind the wheel of the new Pilot. Love the seats. The seats are fantastic. I like the way when you go EXL, that L stands for luxury. You're getting some of those extra luxurious touches like the leather interior. And the instrumentation is so easy to glance at. Now, I would like a head-up display, and that is still a zonk in my book, but they did do a great job, you know, making this a good driving Pilot, a Pilot that also has good passenger cargo volume, but also a Pilot that has some different technology than compared to the previous gen. Should it have the 12.3-inch that's in the Honda Accord? Yes, it should. It would make more sense since this is a larger vehicle. But having the 9-inch, let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It doesn't really bother me as much as I would have thought. But what's great is that the drivability of this vehicle is there. You got your naturally aspirated V6 power. Looking at the new Traverse, they go 4-cylinder turbo. New Highlander, 4-cylinder turbo. So you're still getting your V6 with that nice linear torque delivery. And the fact that they have drive modes now for the Pilot, it really just helps personalize exactly what you want to accomplish for that particular drive that you're on. But visibility is great in here. The side mirrors are fantastic. And I think you're gonna like the way it rides with those HPD wheels. and tires. I think you're gonna like the way it rides compared to, say, the Elite, which has the larger wheel. Even though that's not terrible, I just think you're gonna enjoy having a little bit more sidewall, which makes it more of a comfortable riding experience. But when it comes to noise and stuff, the sound deadening material, they did a great job with that. You do have paddles to go up and down the 10-speed. A lot of the competitors have 8-speed automatics. This has a 10-speed automatic. And Honda just does something special with their steering. I don't know what their secret sauce is, but they really get it down pat, and it feels good when you're behind the wheel because you could feel the communication that's going on between you and the front wheels and tires. But we're gonna go on throttle here to see how this Pilot handles and how it drives. All right, guys, we're gonna come to a complete stop on throttle. Here we go. Little bit of wheel chirp. Nice smooth shifts from the 10-speed automatic. And then when you're going through the twisty bits, like I said, even though this isn't a corner carver, this is where Honda takes all that they know from all their years of racing and bring it into all their vehicles. Whether you're driving an HRV, a Pilot, a CRV, or a Type R, you're gonna get that same great driving feel. And you get it right away. That's the great news. You feel it right away. 10-speed is very, very smooth. And having that nice low linear torque delivery, it just pulls all the way through. All right, guys, one more time, we're gonna go through some curves here so you can see how it handles. On throttle, here we go. Drops down and we are off. On the brakes. Like I said, the feedback is just phenomenal. Even through this decreasing right-hand bend. Not a ton of body roll like you would expect, which is nice. It's nice to not experience the vehicle falling over on itself. It feels very planted, very well planted. And obviously if you go all-wheel drive, that's even gonna feel better because Honda does make a great all-wheel drive system. But I think one of the things I'm a little disappointed in is that when you do go on throttle, the V6 is a little noisy. So something to think about. And this is a new V6 compared to the last generation. Even though it's the same displacement, 3.5 liters, it's still different than the previous generation, but it is a little noisy when you go on throttle. All right, guys, pulling away from the light, even with it in sport, it's a very good transition when you roll on throttle. It's not very grabby or twitchy or anything like that. Soaks up the bumps super well. And I think you're gonna be overall very, very happy with the way that this thing drives and handles. But hopefully this has been a good overall review of this 2023 Pilot, especially the EXL trim. We're gonna get back to Tampa Honda and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. Another great hot sunny day out here at Tampa Honda. Definitely want to thank Sam and the rest of the crew getting us this radiant red Pilot EXL with the HPD package. Let me know what you think. Are you going Traverse? Are you going Highlander? Are you going CX-90? How are you gonna have your midsize SUV, that 3-row midsize SUV? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Stephen Flood. One of his fans is honking right now. Stephen's right here, everybody. Thank him. Right over here, right here. So, Stephen, thank you for your hard work. We'll get to your fans in a second. Right now, they want your autograph. Hold on, 10 more seconds. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.